So earlier today, I published a video indicating that the Supreme Court, specifically Justice Clarence Thomas, had issued a temporary stay on the subpoena that was issued to Lindsey Graham to compel him to testify in front of a grand jury in Georgia to answer questions regarding possible election interference within that state. And a lot of the comments that were posted suggested that there's an understanding that Clarence Thomas made this decision definitively, and that indicates that Clarence Thomas is trying to hide something or protect someone. That is not the case as it pertains to the order that was issued today. What was issued today was an administrative order, and what that does is it basically pauses the effect of that subpoena, but it pauses it only temporarily. It's an administrative stay. So let's recap on what had happened. The grand jury in Georgia issued a subpoena. That subpoena was appealed. Eventually, it went to the 11th Circuit, the famous 11th Circuit Court of Appeal, because that's the Court of Appeals that oversees decisions in, among other states, Georgia. That court rejected the appeal and basically said, the subpoena shall continue. And so Lindsey Graham took that to the Supreme Court. And the application to the Supreme Court was directed to Justice Clarence Thomas, because Justice Clarence Thomas is the chief judge of the 11th Circuit, and that's just practice. It's just what happens procedurally. You send the application to the Supreme Court to the justice that oversees that particular circuit. So Justice Thomas did two things. Number one is it gave a deadline to the other party to respond to the application, and that deadline is this Thursday. But in the meantime, the decision of the lower court, the 11th Circuit District, is still valid and applicable, which means that the subpoena is still valid. And so the other thing that Justice Thomas did is it gave an administrative stay. So it says the subpoena, just for administrative reasons until we figure out what the response is from the other party, shall not move forward, shall not have any effect temporarily. That doesn't mean that the Supreme Court will decide in one way or another. It doesn't even mean that Justice Thomas feels one way or another. He cannot feel one way or another, officially at least, until the other party has responded. So for right now, the only thing that means is everybody go back to your corners. We'll figure things out on Thursday. And in the meantime, the subpoena is on hold. I hope that clarifies things a little bit.